In today's video, this is my mock of the Lotus Esprit Submarine from the 1977 James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. I don't do step-by-step instructions, but if you stick around and watch the video, I'll show you all the ins and outs of how I made it. Without doubt, one of the stupidest, most ridiculous James Bond films ever. It is the quintessential, over-the-top, camp, fun, and yet totally enjoyable films in the Roger Moore era. Barbara Bach was one of the most stunning Bond girls who played the KGB agent Anya. It had one of the best villains, Jaws, and the ski chase scene in Austria was brilliant. The set design for Stromberg's base was next level, and they made a vast set for the inside of the tanker. But without doubt, the best scene of the film, and one of the best scenes in all of James Bond films, is the Lotus Submarine transformation. This film is definitely a product of the 70s, and when I rewatched this film with the kids recently, they were like,
this is insanely embarrassing.
and I have to agree, it's so daft, but that's why it's so brilliant and loved by so many. And after the Aston Martin DB5, the Lotus is just about as iconic as it gets for James Bond vehicles. There are some really great Lego mocks out there of the Lotus, but when I saw the recent Speed Champions Lamborghini Countach set, to me it was so reminiscent of the Lotus, and it has all the right components to rejig into the famous submarine, so that's exactly what I did. The Lamborghini has these stickered headlight slopes, which are exactly the same as the Lotus. I had to add details like this bit on the hoods, obviously the fins, the canopy is fine, but adding things like this vent and the periscope. The rear section is rebuilt with grills and angled plates, but the most work I had to put in was the rear propulsion and fins. I used photos of models to get it right, and I reckon it's as good as it gets, especially with that size wheels, they're spot on. Oh man, you know, the Countach front section design is so good. It is very clever, but sadly it just doesn't work for the Lotus shape, so I had to take away all these parts, and this front build had to be scrapped. The front section had to be elongated and extended by 2 studs, the side panels smoothed off, and the rear extended by 1 stud. So I removed it and added instead layered black plates on the nose with hinges to attach those white 2x4 tiles, flanked either side by white slopes with the bumper popped on the front. And underneath is simply done with curves and wedges. Obviously, instead of the grey axle pieces for the wheels, I had to swap them out and put a few plates with just 2 slopes on top and those inverted dome pieces to make the fins. To finish off the back, I used 4 white inverted slopes which just smooth off the appearance and hold the axle plates in place for the propulsion system. In an ideal world, I'd like to have totally tiled underside, but it's very difficult at this scale to achieve the right look and not make it too bulky. That said, the 8 stud wide scale is perfect for adding just a bit more detail and accuracy rather than 6 stud wide build, so it's possible to do it, but I think it would still make it too bulky. The sides here are the same, but I did add a brick instead of a slope here. There was originally a stickered panel here, but I swapped that out and put a hinge here instead with jumper plates, and I kept this top section the same as the Lambo, and these side hinges too, they're spot on. The other additional detail are these angled plates which make it look just like the Lotus. And it all means it fits snugly together with this plate with black grille details. The Speed Champions canopy is perfect for the Lotus, and from the side you can see just how accurate this all looks. I used the Harry Potter wand for the periscope on top, and the vent is done with a chrome roller skate piece. The interior is still red, but I've added a blue tile as well. Believe it or not, but the real Lotus interior fabric is actually tartan, and in the Bond film it has a navy blue lining around the edge. can't get much more 70s than that. I think this looks decent. I mean, it's pretty hard to do tartan and Lego at this scale without some stickers, so I'm fine with that. But to be honest, it's getting the exterior details correct that matters to me most. The rear section does have a black flap as a sort of rudder. That's easily done with a long tile, and if I take this off you can see this a bit better. So these size wheels are perfect for the propulsion, I think, as with 4 in a row they just fit underneath without overlapping the sides. The actual rudder pieces are simply done with tiles and small wing plates, and even with just a single point of attachment it's enough to keep them on, and they're sturdy. I smoothed off the trunk area with a 2x6 white tile instead and added very blocky number plate and rear lights instead. And everything is very sturdy, nothing falls off. I love this build, and if you take another look at it, then watch the bit from the film, and you know, it is a cool stunt. They really did drive it off the jetty here. Man, I remember the first time I watched this on TV. I think it was on one Christmas when I was a kid, and I loved this bit. It was so cool. What a cool vehicle, and all the gadgets and weapons it had were awesome. There was just nothing else like it, and there never has been anything like it in any other movie. A car that turns into a submarine. To make an Anya minifigure, I just used Princess Leia with a hair swap, and this is Amy's hair mold from the Big Bang Theory set. Bond was done with a blue and white shirt and black jacket torso from some random city set, I can't remember. Easy enough to make a Bond though, isn't it really? And this thing, it is very swooshable, and the first thing the kids did was indeed do this. In fact, I think to them it's more like a flying car, which it definitely does look like it could be as well. I haven't given it any opening weapons like the missile launcher it has in the movie at the front or the rear, but it's more for display anyway. And that's why I made a stand as well. Just a simple Technic build with this frame, and I tiled it as best I could, attaching tiles using those blue Technic pins. The top is adjustable too, so it can swivel around for different positions. Anyways, I had a lot of fun building this. The Countach was a great donor car to do this with, and I had plenty of interesting pieces left over so I can use them in something else. I don't do instructions, but I'm sure you can figure it out by watching the video. My mock is certainly not as complex as the Countach build. I kept it far more simple, and that's the easiest way to do it. I hope my mock is a worthy attempt at the Lotus Submarine. Thanks so much for watching until the end, I really appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next video guys. See ya, bye!